All right, well, had a little technical issue there coming through a gap, I think. So, don't have the best in the world either. So bear with me. If it cuts off, it cuts off. I'm doing the best I can. Ooh, they got some nice brush going right there. Let me get my mask on here. Keep that sun off. That's some good brush power right there. Should be. All right. Well, just trying this little old school pawpaw right now, seeing if anything's going to hit that. Ooh. We're about to head down. To the main river. Make a little run, see if we can get anything out in the log jams out in the river. We'll tie on another bait here. We gotta bring the rod then. Look at, yeah, there it is. I've got an old school bait called a chug bug. They still sell them. You don't hear about them very much, but the fish in this creek have always reacted well to these things. Let's see if I can find a snap. This is a bait that really needs a snap for some reason, or split ring. I got one in another box. Get this tied on there and then do a little work with that guy, see if anything's interested. How's my power looking? Hey, there went a little something. Get tied up real quick, we'll throw in there and catch him. I'm not going to move from my position. I'm going to cast right where that fish just bit. See if we can get a bite. Well, I was a little bit off. Well, not looking good. Not sure if it's just the heavier line doing that or the short. This thing's not walking the way I want it to. This is a little, you can fish it a bunch of different ways, but always just kind of slow walk it across the surface. It just kind of does whatever it wants sometimes, and it may not work real good on this heavier line. Ooh. And it looks like I got a little in a hurry with my knot, and I got a little kink going on in there. I don't like that, so I'll retie this. Ugly ducklings out there making a commotion. Oh, it did it again. I'm not liking that. Try this one more time here. I'm gonna try another Palomar. All right, good. I'm glad it sounds better. That's weird that it would have, I don't know why it was acting up before. Sounded fine on my end, so I'm not sure why you weren't being able to hear it there, Alan. Ooh, that went a little something. All right. Well, we'll put this thing on here. See what we can do. Let's get on past all this. I don't even want to mess with this. Okay. We'll cut across this little riprap bank. Ooh, cast up in the trees. This has always been kind of a tricky bait to work. I like it to walk, but it doesn't always want to walk. But it does have a sound or something that these fish in this creek like. It's got a little cupped face on it, so you can make it spit, you can make it walk. I like it to do a little bit of both. All right, up in there. It's a good size. It's a little bit bigger than the Pop-R, so you get a little bit. In here you might get bigger bites, even though it's going to be hard to top what we've already caught today. Well, they weren't giants, but they were good solid fish for this creek. These fish have always liked that walking action, but I think they like this little smaller profile sometimes better than they like than a spook, and sometimes they don't want a popper. And this kind of fits the bill in between those two niches, where you got a little bit of a popper, but you also got a little walk going on. Good little lay down right here. But did I get a bite on it? No, not yet. Not yet, still got a couple more casts to make. When you're doing this kind of dirty water top watering, usually a little bit slower presentation is better. And then I've been going across this limb, but I'm gonna make a cast all the way down it and just work all the way down the limb, and sometimes that's better. If you can make the right cast. That was an awful cast. Didn't go anywhere near where I wanted it. Yep, and I got hung up on top of that. Top of everything else got hung up. I'm gonna drag that limb off the top of it. Oh, okay. All right, moving right along. One thing I don't like about this bait is it doesn't do real good moved fast. Better just to cast it next to your piece of cover, twitch it 2 or 3 times, and that's about all you get. Throw this thing right on the front of that little island. And then we've got some good lay down logs on the left here where I've caught some big fish before. We'll see if anything's on them. This thing's just hard to work. I think part of it might be I'm using a little bit heavier line than what I usually use on this reel. No bites. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up the creek fishing section of the morning. We're gonna go hit the river. Got a little bit of a ride ahead of us, so just bear with me. And let me get this tuned. I'm gonna get this lure tuned up because I like it. It looks good. It's just, well, I guess it's running all right. That time it did anyway. All right. If I lose signal, I'll try to log in again when I get to where I'm going. Got a pretty good little drive. Probably gonna be 10 or 12 minutes before I get to where I'm going. So just bear with me, and we'll get there, and we'll get to fishing when we get there. All right. All right, water looks good. Water looks good down here. Let's see what we got going on. What's up, Chuvang? Yeah, there's a big river. It's the Coosa. Oh, we got some mud coming out of this creek. This thing runs from North Georgia all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, pretty much. Aha! Look at that, first cast. Got one on my little crankbait on this little old school fiberglass rod. Little We Are crankbait. Oh, come on now. He's trying to get a hook in my hands, what he's trying to do. I'm not going to let it happen though. Little spotted bass. Right away, that's good. Get a little bite right away. That's a pretty little spot. Got a mud line coming out of this creek. That's some mud. Another fish, or was that something else? No, it wasn't a fish. There's a little log pile or something right there. Yeah, we got some dirty water coming out of that creek. Fishing my little antique, my little 5.5 foot antique rod here. That was pretty cool. That's the first one I've caught on one of these antique rods today. That was going to be my focus, was fishing these things. What's up, Tobo Palooza? I've caught, that was number 3 I just caught. First ones this morning were quite a bit bigger. Got one about 2.5, another one around 3. So, seen a lot of shad activity coming down the river, so I was happy to see that. Rod cast this lure pretty good. And this is an old antique Rebel We Are, just an old square bill from, I don't know how old it actually is, but it's pretty old. Probably 80. Probably it's at least 80s. I don't know. It's got a little creek mouth here. We're going to run this creek mouth, see if anything's hanging out. Had the one bite above it. Nothing actually in the creek mouth. Just letting this thing bounce on the bottom. It's not real deep until it drops off. I've got some deeper versions of this if I feel like that's what we need. I got some other stuff I might try today as far as crankbaits go if they're gonna bite a crankbait. And we got a big old nice lay down here in front of us. Oops. Maybe there'll be a fish. We'll pick up a fish on that on a spinnerbait or a top water or something. We'll see how it lays out and figure out what we want to throw at it. But that's my gig today, just fishing these old antique rods and old lures from a long time ago, just seeing, just seeing what we can catch on them. They will obviously still catch a fish. Put this down for a minute. I'm gonna put my spinnerbait up here, and then I've been catching fish on this old popper. It's not on an old rod, but it is an old bait, old school style bait. I got a little lay down right here. I'm gonna see if something comes out. I'm gonna try this in some of these shady areas, try that spinnerbait, and if none of that ends up working, I got some modern stuff I can try. I got some swim jigs in there and stuff like that that can work good in this river. There he is. Got him on the popper. Yeah. All right. Not a big one, but a little feisty guy. I'm just going to pop that hook out of his mouth and let him go back in. There we go. Nope, I don't own an urchin. Not a single one. Don't plan on buying them. Not interested in it at all. There's another one, same spot. Another bite, same spot. It's not my thing. I don't do forward-facing sonar. I don't do that urchin stuff. I mean, they catch fish, I guess, but it's just kind of a fad for me. I'll let everybody else do that, and then these bass will forget about what I'm using, and I'll start catching more fish. I do a lot of shallow water power stuff, jerk baits, spinner baits, crankbaits, and top water. That's most of what I do these days. I don't tournament fish anymore, so I'm not as much worried about catching the big. I mean, I enjoy catching big fish. But I'm not as much worried about having to catch the biggest fish of the day. I might do something crazy later and I'm using a 4.5 Colorado on this bait. I might actually go down to a 4. Just feel like the watercolor might need to go just a little bit smaller than what I'm doing. Oh, there we go. Pick that popper back up. I do have a bad habit about that. I'll catch a fish and then put down whatever I was using and try something else. Make a long cast right out in front of that thing. See if there's anything hanging out there that wants to come up and slam that top water. I am gonna do what I just said. I'm gonna change this blade on this bait and put a little smaller one on. I don't normally do stuff like that. Usually I go the other direction, but for some reason today I just feel like I need a number 4. When I have a hunch, I normally go with it, because what's the use in giving it a shot, you know? It's always worth a try. Ooh. I'm gonna have to retie too after I get this done. I haven't caught a fish on this today anyway. I had a couple of swipers this morning on it. I wouldn't have even, if I didn't see them, I wouldn't have even known they were hitting it. Let's get a quick retie and then we'll get back down this bank. I see a lot of shad out here today, so that's positive. All right. All right, let's see how that works. Thing actually looks like it's thumping a little harder, which is odd. That is a 4, isn't it? May have just, yeah, that's a 4. Okay. We're gonna kind of fly down this bank, and anywhere there's some decent looking grass or something, we may cast to it. But there's another creek mouth down the way. Make a few casts along these high spots. A little piece of brush right up under there. Got my little old school lightning rod here. Make these little short casts. That thing doesn't want to run right with that bait, with that blade. I don't know why. That's a smaller blade and that thing doesn't want to run right. It ought to run better. Oop. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I may put an Indiana on then. If I can't get that one to work right, I might put an Indiana on there and try that. Get a little combination of flash and yeah, that bait's turning over with a smaller blade. That's weird, man, but it is. The thing actually looks like it's putting off a little bit more vibration with that. These Hildebrandt blades are weird, like they got a lot more thump than some of them do. But the one I had on there was a 4.5. It was cupped a little bit more though. Seemed like it might have had a little more cup. Yeah, we got to change that out. Not liking that either. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. You gotta keep working at it till you find the right thing that's going to do what you need it to do. Now, I don't know if I have a blade that'll. Here, look at that. I got a little silver number 4 Indiana. Let's give that a shot. I don't really like silver, but it's a clear day, fairly clear day, so who knows? Maybe this will be the jam. Okay. Oh yeah, I like that. Let's see. Oh yeah, runs good. A little bit less. Runs good, doesn't thump quite as hard, but good. Just running the standard 3/8 ounce with a chartreuse and white skirt. This is the Coosa River. It's this is where I grew up. I don't normally fish here, but I come back a couple times a year and give it a shot, just see what's going on. Don't get as much boat traffic as we get up in Chattanooga, so. Whew. Should got one right there. Water's probably too clear for a spinnerbait. I probably need to be fishing that swim jig, but we'll give this a fair shake. Maybe we can get a bite or two on it down through here. I'm not minding that thump on this particular blade. I think it's doing good. We just keep the boat moving with this spinnerbait, and sooner or later we're probably going to run into something. You know, a lot of ways people fish, you're trying to find a bunch of numbers of fish. This way I'm just fishing for aggressive feeding fish that are, you know, you make one cast in there, they're gonna come out and bop it, and then speak of that, I just had one just then. I just had one bite it. He didn't come back. I think I need to put a trailer hook on this thing. I've had 3 fish hit this thing today, and they've all missed. Put this little trailer on there. I got all my spinnerbait stuff with me today. I'm ready to do some of that. Like I say, if that doesn't work, we're gonna do some swim jigging. We're gonna catch some fish. Don't know how many, don't know how big, but we're gonna catch some. Got my keeper there. I need to get my hook out. The hook. All right, come on now. All right, there we go. This little old 5.5 foot lightning rod. All the old school guys know what that is. Most of them have probably used one of them at one point or another. What kind of top wire lure you want to tip on? I'm pretty good. That's probably my number one bait to fish. So, are you trying buzz baits, poppers? I don't do a whole lot of whopper ploppers, so I don't have much to get offer on that. If you're talking about like tackle or how you use it, or just let me know what kind of, who am I speaking with? Are you a frog man? Your name's Froggy. Are you a frog fisherman? There'll be one or two in this grass line in this river. I mostly fish with, I fish buzz baits, I fish pop-Rs a lot. Those are my two favorites. My pop-Rs are really, really highly modified. Buzzbait I fish mostly straight out of the package. I do one or two little things to it just to that just make it squeak the way I like it to squeak. There's some carp. There's a carp. Oop. But on a pop-R straight out of the box, first thing I do is I change the hooks, because the hook, like if you're just using like a standard Rebel pop-R, the hooks on them are garbage. Some of the other ones, they have good hooks. And the other thing is just figure out your retrieve speed. Sometimes they want it real fast, sometimes they want it slow. You know, kind of cast past your cover. Just work your bait past your cover, and when you get a little bit past it, kind of speed it up a little bit and see if you can get one to kind of react and come out there and feel like it's escaping. Buzzbait, same thing. Just everything you fish, you want it to be near cover if you can help it. If you're fishing schooling fish or something like that, a walker is usually a little bit better. There's another top water bait that I use for schoolers, sometimes called a riser bait. That thing is probably the best school fish bait that there is that I know of. Frogs. There's a bunch of different frogs, a bunch of different ways to fish frogs. You can get the ones that have the legs where you can fish them a little faster. You can add, if you're fishing a hollow body, you can add beads to it. You can always bend people say bend the hooks up. I don't bend them up, I bend them out to the left and right. That way kind of opens it up makes it a little bit better for the fish to get it, so it's not like pressed up against the body. That makes it a little bit less weedless. You know, I use 60-pound braid on my frogs normally, and that's just because you're fishing heavier cover most of the time. A frog in an Alabama rig is pretty much the only thing I fish braid on, unless I'm saltwater fishing, and then I'll use braid with like a 20-pound mono leader or whatever size leader I need for that. We're getting down there. We're almost down to the juice. Oop. Whopper plopper is about the only tip I know, is to put a little bit bigger hook on them. Throw them out there and reel them in. I don't know what else. What other topwater baits am I missing? Prop baits. I don't fish with prop baits a whole lot. They're supposed to be better in the spring or in Florida. They work good in Florida for some reason. Fish in Florida they don't like to get real aggressive with topwaters like they do pretty much everywhere else in the world. They'll just kind of come up and look at it, and then they'll just kind of slurp it in. I guess that dark water has something to do with that. I don't really understand it. I changed the props on my prop bait, so I make them a little bit bigger. I've got some old props from some old antique Nipodiddies, and I like those a lot. They make a little bit better sound to me. And they've got a little bushing in there so that they spin a little bit freer than the ones on like your standard Devil's Horse. They make some other ones. I think Berkley makes one that spins pretty good. The one thing on the buzzbait that I do is I always use offset buzzbait blades, because I just don't like the ones that the wire goes through the blade. I don't like those. I like the ones that are offset, like a Lunker Lure style. And on the very bottom of the rivet, or of the blade where it touches the rivet, I always push that up, and that makes it squeak a little bit. Makes it squeak faster and a little bit better to me. I've never had much luck with the clackers or the double buzzes or anything like that. They catch fish, but I've never had much luck on them myself. Just a little half-ounce Lunker Lure or quarter-ounce Lunker Lure are the ones that I use the most. Oh, I had a little bite. Felt like a little bite. Looked away for a second. All right. Not forgetting any genre of top water there. Walkers, poppers. I've never really used twitch baits like Rapalas as top waters. I have some, but mostly in streams. Ooh, that's a good cast. That was a good cast right there. I should have produced a big old fish. But it did not. One thing I tell you about poppers and walkers, a lot of guys like to use braid. If you're going to use braid, that's fine. If you're using, they won't work right on fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon sinks faster than monofilament, and those two baits just do not work worth a flip on fluorocarbon. So monofilament or braid for those. I would recommend monofilament. I think it gives you a little bit, makes it work a little bit better. You don't pull the bait away from the fish as fast if you set the hook a little too hard or too fast. And it's treble hook baits, you don't lose as many fish with treble hook baits with monofilament as you do with braid. You're gonna rip some hooks. Oh, I see some fish schooling up here. I was talking about my riser bait. I'm gonna get that thing out here in just a second and give it a shot. They don't look like they're any size, but probably might be a little white bass or a little 8-inch bass is probably all they are, but we'll see if we can get one of them to bite. Put this down for a second. Well, Froggy, I don't know if that helps you out, but maybe it'll help you out a little bit. If you've got any specific baits you want to talk about, just let me know. This is a riser bait. It's a little Japanese thing. I'm trying to think of the name of the company I think it's a Jackal. It's just a neat little, it just looks like a little fleeing bait fish. That's the only way I know to describe it. And you just throw it out there and reel it in. It also looks like a spawning shad. So if you've got either one of those things going on, it's a good bait to give a shot. I'm gonna fish this crankbait till we get up there a little closer. I always like to fish crankbait out in the mouth of these creeks. And I'm also gonna get out here. I'm gonna fish this. There's a big weed bed over here to the left in the mouth of this creek. I'm gonna fish it with the spinner bait going in, and then if I don't get any bites, I'm gonna try it with a swim jig, see if I get a bite with a swim jig. I'm just not sure if it's, ooh, that felt like that. I don't know if that was a fish or if I got hung up on something there. I didn't know there was anything in the mouth of that creek though. I will throw this popper in that mouth for just a second. There's two different ways that I fish a popper. I fish it real fast where I'm skipping it across the surface. If you watch some of my old videos, you'll see that. And then down here, and ooh, I need to retie. That's awful. On this body of water in particular, I found that they don't like it. They will almost never hit it moving fast. So you gotta slow it down a little bit for him here. I just do like a 1 2 1 2 retrieve, just kind of slow pops, and that's what they do. That's what they like. They come up and slam it. This is a highly modified Pop-R. It's got a custom tail on the back hook. Treble hooks are changed out to some better hooks. It's sanded down so that it does some stuff so that it does a little bit more movement than a standard Pop-R, and it doesn't plop. You can't move a standard Pop-R fast. So I do some sanding on it, and that sanding also makes it it'll make it walk a little bit, not controlled, but it'll make it move to the side. Okay, I'm gonna put this away. I'm gonna put my adventure hat on because it's getting hot. Sun's on. Yeah, adventure. He does a good job of keeping that sun off my neck. All right, we're gonna go down through here and make a pass with a spinnerbait, and then we're gonna come back through it with a swim jig and see if we do any better with one than the other. Definitely a few fish chasing some shad up in there. I'm seeing them bust. I don't know if that's the same ones that were in the mouth here a minute ago or not. But there's usually a few small fish in this weed bed right here, so I figured I'd give it a shot since we're here. Well, I spooked a carp. Not doing us any good, is it? I normally try to find like a lane that I can throw the spinnerbait in so that this willow grass doesn't lay down, so my bait just kind of goes through it. I feel like it does. I have better luck with catching fish. Ooh, I got in here a little close. If the grass is laying over and not looking right, I feel like I don't do as good as if I'm just working it through the grass, if that makes any sense. Try this little outside row right here. And this water's dingy, so I get pretty close to the fish. I don't too much worry about spooking them a whole lot. Try to stay off my trolling motor as much as possible. Limb out there. Ooh, no bites. We are in the dog days of summer, but I think I'd get a bite or two on this thing that would actually hook up. Ooh, that might have been a bite right there. But again, he didn't hook up. I don't know if that blade on that spinnerbait is just a little too much for him or what, but seems like in the summertime I have a little bit better luck on the swim jig than I do on a spinnerbait. Oh, there went something busting way up in there. I might be able to cast to that, but I can't. Nope, I missed the crap out of it. Well, maybe they're on that hard line. There's a bunch of sparse stuff, and then there's a hard line. Maybe that's what I need to be looking at. This is a good place to fish frog too. It's a good place to fish buzzbait. If you want to fish topwater through this, good place for any of that. All right, I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna put that swim jig on. I gotta tie one on. I don't even have one tied on. That's the right color. That's a 3/8. I don't want a 3/8. I want a quarter. That's not a quarter either. That one's the wrong color. Alright, well, what do we got here? An empty bag. That's a 3/8. Somewhere in this boat I got a 1/4 ounce that I can keep up. I've got one tied on that's like a more of a brim color. It's a darker color. It's not a shad. I want a shad. Let's check this box. That might be, is that it right there? Nope. What the heck? Here, I got a head there. I'm just gonna put a skirt on it. Find a skirt that looks good, and then we'll go with it. Alright, let me move these rods out of the way. I gotta get in that box. Just a little 1/4 ounce. Got a good sharp hook. And then I use these Z-Crawl Juniors, and the white pearl has been what I've liked. They work pretty good. You ever seen one of those? And then somewhere in here I've got a skirt that I can put on this. Let me see what we got. That one right there looks pretty shaddish. And I'm going to trim this up. When I get it put together, I'm going to trim it up a little bit. See how that looks. Well, once I get it spread out, it'll look better. All right. I'll rig up. Ooh. I like my skirt to be evenly distributed all the way around, and this one is not right now. I'm working on it though. See how that works. All right, got that going on. Now I'm gonna trim some of these skirts up. I always trim them up just above the claws. Run this around for a minute, see if it does anything. Looks pretty good. Should be able to keep it. Oh yeah, I can keep it up good. It's real shallow. I mean, it's only a foot or two deep over there, so I want something I can keep up in the water column. Got a couple of little areas there just a little bit longer than what I want, so we'll tear those off. All right. Yeah. Let's see. All right. This minutes. We'll get back to our vintage bait stuff. Of course, I'm gonna keep this handy because I have a feeling I'm gonna catch a few fish on this today. Cast on this hard line. There's a little piece of wood right there too. That's a good spot for one to hide out. But did I get a bite there? No, we got a little spot way on out there. Let's get that. No bite. Other times I've been in here, there's been shad in this grass, so maybe it's not working today because of that. A nice little breeze. It feels pretty good this morning. Well, they're still getting over there chasing little bitty fish. Probably might be some white bass. Oh, dang, all the ones I'm seeing busting are on the other side of the weeds. They're on that shallow end. Can't even reach that last one that just came up and hit something. Oh, there's some little baby thrip in there, about 1.5 inches long. So there is some bait sweeping through here. Well, this is how fishing goes sometimes, just lots of casting. Especially on this lake. But if I can get on something, usually it's something that'll produce in a lot of different places. But the hard part is just getting on something. We caught a little one on a crankbait, we caught multiples on top water and nothing on anything else. So right now all signs are pointing to top water, but as the day goes on, top water usually fades away, so got to find an alternative. We'll go over here. Let's see that riser for a minute while we're scooting across. Well, that's where those fish were kind of coming up, busting a few minutes ago. Ooh, they're going crazy over there, a bunch of them. Oh yeah, they're busting them up hard over there. Oh, let's see. I just saw one bust out there in front of me a little bit. Didn't hit my little bait. Oh well. I'm not gonna go up in there and mess with those little fish. Well, oh no, they're coming a little closer. Let me. don't think I can cast far enough. Nah. That's all right. We're not after any little babies. We'll take them if they come our way, but we're not after them. All right. Nope. One just sucked in one. Oh, there they go over there too. I just want to see if I can get one to hit this thing. Come on. Yeah. Huh. Not even coming up and hitting it. They're actively feeding right there. That's frustrating. The only problem with this bait is if you get anything on that hook at all, it isn't gonna run right. I mean, nothing. Oh well, they're not hitting it. Okay, let me get all these untangled. That goes there, that goes there. All right. Back to the business at hand. Trying to catch a fish out of some grass. Then we're about to go down and try some log jams. There's one right across the way that looks gigantic, like a big old tree fell. We did the one couple of fish we've had bite out here, that's where they bit. We're about to start on our log jam only campaign. I wanted to try a couple little weed beds before I did that, and the result is as expected. Not really getting any bites. Alright, let's scoot across and try that next log jam. I appreciate the optimism there, Caleb, but I don't know if there's too many 10-pounders in this particular river. About the biggest one I ever caught was about 7.5. But we're gonna keep trying for one. I'll keep trying for a 10. I've only ever caught one over 10. And it was on Chickamauga. Ooh, we had some kind of nasty storm go through here because there's a lot of stuff that's falling here. Oop, that one got me right in a tree. Get that backlash out and then we'll try that again. That was awful. This one right here might not be here long, might not have been here long enough to get any fish on it yet. People lost one on each side of their house. That's wild. Oh, no, not good. Ooh, there's some minnows being scooted back in there. Let's throw it back in there. There we go. Oh, there he was. He missed it. He missed it. That's all right. He was a little guy. Very little guy. Ooh. Just throwing that thing up in some of that harder to reach stuff. So far my trend continues where they're mostly just hitting top water. So those two trees look relatively new. Now this one right here, ooh, that was just probably the worst possible cast I could have made. Wow, that was bad. I'm gonna set that down, and I'm gonna go ahead and fish it with a swim jig. This one's been here for a long time. I tend to prefer the ones that have been around for a while. That's the cast. It's supposed to get a bite right there. Ooh. But it didn't get a bite, so let's go get our bait. This bait's bad about drifting off on you. While I'm here, I'm gonna try to throw it right in that little, ooh, almost missed it. I'll throw it right in there at the base of that tree. Well, shoot. The forces that be did not want that, I don't guess. Oh my gosh. Oh. All right, we're getting out of here. There it goes. I'm gonna go over these 2 trees one more time with a spinnerbait, and then we're moving on. All right. Oh. All right, moving out. We're just gonna run some log piles. Thanks, Counselor. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. I spent a lot of time working with some different setups to try to get what I wanted, and this is the best I could come up with that does what I needed to do. We'll get a little water here. Maybe I might get a little snack. I think it's time for a little snack. Got some jerky. Beef jerky time. All right. I'm gonna start with the top water on this one. We got some cloud cover coming, so it's a good chance I'm gonna get wet this evening, or at some point. Been a great day so far though, not much boat traffic. Can't ask for much better than that. Nice and cool. Getting a few bites here and there. That looks like another fresh one. I think the one down there is the one I was actually thinking about fishing. This looks like another fresh couple of laydowns in the river here. Make a couple of shots on the outside with this top water, and then I'll try back with my swim jig or something, see if I can get another bite on the. Get in a little bit, get a little heavier. Oh, that cast was awful. Oh, did I get him? Nope. I knew that was going to happen. I knew I was going to get a hit on the other side of that limb and hang up. All right, I said something about no boat traffic. Here comes a jet ski. Usually they don't show up till about 11, so I feel like we're a little ahead of schedule here. All right, we're gonna scoot down to this next one. Since I messed that one up. All right. Nothing there. Moving on down. fresh. Run some log jams here for a while. Be just kind of running and gunning. So may drop the trolling mower, make a few casts, pick it up, go to the next one. We got two here. We got one little one on the right, and then we got a nice big one on the left. Actually, we got another one over there too. Never have really fished on this side right through here very much. There's another creek mouth down there. I'm definitely hitting that. Oh, got a little brim slashing that thing. Oh, this one looks fishy. It looks like it's been here for a little while. Type of place where you should try a worm or a jig or something, but I'm just not interested. I'd rather see them come up and blow up on this thing, and they will. Either do that or they'll hit the swim jig or a spinnerbait or something like that. I'm basically fishing a swim jig just like a spinnerbait. It just doesn't have a blade on it. I'm just throwing it out there and just keeping it 6 or 8 inches under the wire where I can see it. I did that a whole bunch of bait scooted. I thought something was about to get in there and pop it. Nobody's made that cast today. I got my bait got all hung up with some spider webs. Not liking how this plastic's just rigged weird to me for some reason. I don't know what's going on with it, but What in the world? There it goes. Oh, no way. Dang. It's supposed to be weedless. It's not weedless. These conditions, fish are supposed to be biting in this river. Cloudy conditions. There it goes. All right, let's shoot on across. See a couple of log piles over there. We'll try them out, and then we'll go down to that creek mouth. We're just junk fishing. Just fishing whatever looks good. And this just feels like a topwater day. Yeah, I got a little brim trying to hit it right there. A little brim come up there and snatch that thing. There's a couple of them. Ooh, ooh. I blew up on it and missed it. How do they miss it? That's what I don't understand. I don't understand how these fish, it's going slow. Just barely moving there. All they gotta do is just open their mouth up and slurp it in. I guess they're just not good at eating, like me biting my tongue or something like that. Nope. Let's try that again. There we go. And that time it sailed the other way. Ooh, that's a good bass. Just came up and looked at that thing. He kind of came up and glanced at it and then nosed it and went away. Ooh, there's so many thread pins right here. I guess when there's all that bait, they don't have to. They don't have to try too hard to hit mine. They're all about that long. They're all about 1.5 inches. About the size of that little crankbait I was using earlier. I'm about to pick it up anyway because I like fishing crankbaits in creek mouths. Oh, these people have ruined this creek mouth. They're cutting away trees. I don't think they understand that's what keeps everything from going away. All right. Ooh, got my little ancient fiberglass crankbait rod here. See if we can get a fish to bite that thing. I can probably just take this thing down this bank and catch a couple of fish. A lot of spots line up on this bank. Feed up on these minnows that are running through here a lot of times. Gotta do the old baseball swing cast, or the pitching movement. You know, where you kind of wind up and shoot it out there. Couple of good stumps right out in the front of this one somewhere, right in that general area. Ooh, this fishing is way tougher than what I thought it was going to be down here. It can be tough. Maybe I just haven't got on the right juice yet. That's wild. Supposed to get some bites. Supposed to get some bites right in here. Around all this good looking stuff. And we got a little front moving in too. I don't understand why we're not getting a couple of bites. Blammo. All right, I'm gonna kick it in the high. There's a couple little places down through here I want to hit, but we're just gonna speed. We're just gonna fish, hit the high spots. Had one biter right there. Didn't come back. Oh, there was a bite. You're just not getting that spinnerbait. There's some geese around here. Luckily they're not yapping. Oh. Alright, good. They all turned right before where I wanted to go. So that's good. There's some stuff under the water right here. I believe it's right here. Where are we? Yeah. There was some good stuff right here. Let's see if any of it's left. Well, I guess most of it's gone. We got another creek mouth coming up. Cast a little bit further down. Maybe there's some remnants. Hit a couple of things there. Nope. What's up, Joseph? Thanks for stopping by, man. Oh, looks like we got some new stuff on this one down on this side of it. Oh man, this has been a rough day. Rough day in the river. Supposed to be some fish biting out here in this river, but I'm not seeing any evidence of it. Got a little creek mouth here. Well, my little old school stuff's not really working out too good so far today. I've had some good bites on the top water, and that's been about it. We got a couple of little small fish on a crankbait. Oh, we got one fish on a crankbait. I think everything else has been on top water. One thing I know to do is just keep pressing. Sometimes that's how it goes. You gotta keep working till you find them. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna ease on down a little bit. I'm curious if it's just a lure selection deal, or if it's just if the fish just aren't active, or what's going on. I don't really know. Beef jerky time. Got some little deeper grass beds right here. We'll give these a shot. And then there's a little place up here that's got some stuff. Used to be a log jam, but now there's just some stuff left under the water that's kind of it's kind of sneaky, a little sneaky place where there's some fish sometimes. There he is. Good fish. All right. There we go. Finally. Hey, it's been a while. Got a little feisty two pounder there. All right. Somebody's cheering for me over there. We got one. All right, that makes me feel a little better. My little swim jig. There's a little log there that fish was sitting on, it looks like. Well, we got a bite. They will hit a swim jig. Oh wow. This looks a lot different than it did the last time I was in here, but where that tree is in the middle of the water right out in front of me, that's where the juice is on this spot. Kind of out off the bank a little bit. So we're gonna back out a little bit. Just gonna slow roll this swim jig out there, see if anything bites. This log right here, it really isn't doing us any favors for this spot. It's actually kind of blocking my ability to cast and fish what I wanted to fish that's underneath the water. It's got all these little bitty limbs that really don't do much for, yeah, they're not really doing much for me. Come on now. There we go. Maybe if I can run it right down the side of it or something, maybe something will come out and grab it. Go on the back side and make a cast or two and see if maybe something will hit off the back side. Maybe that's where I need to be. There used to be a ginormous log pile right here, and it all went away except for a couple little things underneath the water. This was a great, when it was in here, it was a great topwater. I had a little bite there. Great topwater. Ooh, there's some schoolers. Ooh, schoolers. Whole bunch of them. Going wild out there, aren't they? But they're not hitting my bait. I don't understand why they're not hitting my bait. Well, got no love. Oh, come on. Nope, gonna have to go get that one. That was just a stupid decision too.